I would like you to take a few minutes, if you don't mind, to maybe tell Sarah and I what we should know about our lives because of our birth chart. Do you mind doing that?
Yeah. So, Sarah, were you in a relationship or did you just break one off?
No, I'm married. Been married
Oh,
for 5
you're
years.
married.
Yeah.
But does it have to mean, Amy, does that have to mean a loved one relationship, or could it mean a job or anything else?
A close one-on-one relationship. You just had a transit and it's happening this year. Well, it can show us, I hate to say this, but it can show like a change in the relationship somehow. Has the relationship, I don't want to be too personal, but if the relationship has been strained, there could be a separation.
Oh my God.
Divorce next year. Okay, great.
I feel like we're on the Housewives of Beverly Hills. Remember where they get all this bad stuff? Oh my God.
It's a Dorit and PK moment.
Well, wait, maybe it's not your husband though. It could be something, another thing that you're very close to.
You've already had this transit. Transits go by 3 times. So you already had this transit in 2023, probably around August and September, and then again earlier this year. So if there are any sudden changes to the relationship or disruptions that happened, do you recall anything, or with anyone you're close with?
I mean, not people that I'm like really close with, but you start like potential business relationships and then it didn't work out. But I wouldn't say that I was like super close.
Maybe you're going to break up with David Yontef.
I hope not. I hope not. But I wonder, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of other good friends but I definitely had business relationships this spring. I mean, again, they weren't like, it wasn't really bad, but I always feel like God's rejection is your protection. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when you get a sign or it doesn't work out, I'm like, that is God doing me a favor. So I never take it personally usually, but okay, I guess I'll have to be vigilant about my marriage.
All right, what else you got on her, Amy?
Well, let me just tell her that it's going to come back in March and April. So those will be the months it peaks in 2025. So keep an eye on those months.
Okay.
And we actually have similar birth charts because we were born 2 days apart on the same year. So I feel like I'm looking at my birth chart because we have a lot of planets in the same sign. But do you have you dealt with, I feel like I'm doing all bad stuff and it's not normal for me to do that. Have you had a lot of intensity in your relationships or struggled with relationships, or did you get married at an older age or to someone older?
Well, I used to date older men, but then I broke off. It took me a long time to marry my husband. We've been together 10 years, but we married, it took me like 5 years to marry him. I'm very grass is greener syndrome, like a very, very hard for me to commit.
Wow.
And I would say the only struggle we've had, we've had miscarriages, like we've had our baby struggles. So we have a son who's 3.5. But even before that, we had this crazy molar pregnancy. And then I've had 2 miscarriages since. And I've had other astrologers read my chart and they said something about where my Saturn is, that it's not impossible to have more kids, but it's challenging. So I would say that's been our biggest challenge.
You have moon conjunct Pluto. That's what I would say maybe the miscarriages was. Or also you have moon conjunct Saturn. Moon conjunct Saturn and Pluto. That's what it is. That's what it was. It doesn't always manifest that way, but to me,
does that mean, can I ask a question? And I'm sorry for my ignorance, but does that mean if she tries to have a child in a certain month where she's not in moon conjunct Saturn, whatever you just said, that it'll actually work?
So this is in her birth chart. If she could get transits to these planets that are very favorable, that yes, it could work.
I've been told, because I'm using an egg donor now. I've been told.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I've been told by other astrologers, do the transfer end of October or November, that would be the most favorable given my chart. Is that
what I would say? If I was doing a reading for you, I would say do it. I'm looking at an ephemeris, so sorry, it's taking me a minute.
No, take your time. This is important.
I would say May
of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, girl, I ain't waiting that long. Let's hope that the stars shift.
Oh, well, if not, would that be a time? Wait, how many months are between?
No, if I get pregnant in October, November, December, January.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's May. That's
like
May. I
March.
got pregnant in October and I had my daughter in May.
She was early though, right? That's early.
No, she was on time. Wait a minute. That makes sense. If you get pregnant in October, she's saying May is a good month. Maybe you're having your baby in May. Yay!
We'll take that. Yeah.
And maybe the relationship changes that occur will be related to having a baby somehow.
Well, that's stressful. Yeah, I'm sure my husband's going to be. Yes.
Yeah, well,
He'll
that
change
makes sense.
with number 2. Yep.
Right. Okay.
Also, you have Uranus trying your Venus, but you're married, so that's harder to. Have you had money come in like kind of unexpectedly this past year, or maybe even like earlier this year?
Yeah. Yeah. Like my podcast business has definitely the past 2 years have been like the best ever.
Yeah, this is actually Uranus is the sign of technology. So doing something related to technology is really good with this transit. Venus is relationships. So I tell people with this transit who are single to get on the apps. So yeah,
well, I'm launching a podcast course. Rachel's going to be my first tester. So
yeah, I'm so excited.
I have a really good feeling about this. So
when's it happening?
Well, hopefully, I mean, it's taking longer than I thought, but hopefully it's launching this fall, October, November.
Let me see what you have going on October, November. Yeah, that's going to be a good month for you. Jupiter's trying your Saturn. So yeah, that's great for professional advancements. Yeah, that's a really good month. You're good with that.
All right. This is exciting.
We got to hear what Yucatel is up to over there. When is our girl Rachel going to meet a man? Can you tell us this gorgeous?
When am I getting married?
Yes. What is going on? Can we solve her relationship issues once and for all with the stars?
Well, right now, Rachel has Saturn going through her 7th house. And Saturn can be about restriction, limitation. Also, like I said, being more disciplined and serious. But when it's in the 7th house, it can tend to limit or block partnerships somehow. If not, usually the person will partner with someone a lot older because Saturn represents older people as well. It's the ruler of Capricorn, which is what I was talking about with Joe Biden. But Rachel, once Saturn moves out of her 7th house, which will be early next year, I think things will ease up. And Rachel has Jupiter in her 7th house, which is very fortunate in relationships. That means she can learn from her partners, also partners who are very generous and giving. So that's one of the best placements to have in your chart for relationships.
Oh, good. All right. Well, I'm over here when my Jupiter and my Uranus want to get together or whatever.
And Rachel has Jupiter going through her 10th house, just like Trump does. So this is a great year for her to expand professionally. And Saturn is going to be conjunct her Jupiter, which would represent starting something new that you want to see grow long-term professionally. And that will be happening around mid-February.
Of next year.
It already happened this year, the month of July. If you started any projects, usually they'll develop kind of slowly, but you'll see it's done with a solid foundation. So you progress gradually, but it's solid progress.
Okay. All right. Well, this is exciting, I guess.
I was going to say, I feel like that's a kind of spot on for you. That's a good one.
But can you tell if like I'm meant to be married or anything like that, or I'm meant to be a spinster for the rest of my life?
You have Venus on your descendant, so that would show in Pisces, and Venus is exalted in Pisces. And Venus on your descendant would show you're more relationship oriented. You like being in relationships.
I do.
You attract a lot of people, but maybe are more discriminating. Pisces usually shows someone who's very idealistic in relationships, or who can put people on pedestals, maybe overlook their flaws, that sort of thing. Do you feel like?
Yeah, that's a little bit of qualities from a love addict's perspective, and I've suffered from that for sure.